So here we are with Jesus Faith number 5. Last time we talked about how God makes the lights come on. We said that it's a process that involves us doing research and gathering evidence, and that as we do that, as we go through that process and depend upon God, that at a certain point the lights come on and we understand spiritual truth, and then the natural response to that is to believe it. But I'd like to talk just a little bit more about that process that we're involved in. When we walk with God, it's a partnership where He's responsible for what only He can do, and we're responsible for what only we can do. And our responsibility is to first have a humble attitude. That's the foundation. A person who is proud uh, knows all the answers already, at least in their own mind, and really can't learn anything. So there needs to be a humble attitude, an attitude of dependence. It's what Jesus talked about in the Beatitudes when He said, "Blessed are the poor in spirit." And that means to be humble in heart. And so there needs to be a humility that says, I don't know what I need to know. And who's willing to admit that, who wants to sit at the feet of Jesus and learn from Him. So that's our part. And then the second part of our part is to have a passion to learn, to search the scriptures. And Solomon says in the Proverbs, search for wisdom like a hidden treasure. Jesus said, blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, who are looking for the truth, because you will be filled. And so we need to do that. But there's an additional part of that research gathering that we need to do, because we are separated from the writers of the scripture by thousands of miles and thousands of years, and a different culture and a different geographical location and a different language. There's a distance that we have to travel, and we need to employ what's called interpretation or hermeneutics. It's a skill, it's an art and a science of learning how to interpret scripture. And when we get through with this podcast on Jesus Faith, I'm going to introduce another podcast on hermeneutics to help people understand just the skills. It's not a mystery. It's not magic. It's just some common sense rules for helping us bridge the difference between the writers and hearers of the scripture, the readers of scripture, and ourselves, because there's a lot of bridges that need to be built and traversed in order to make that to understand what the scriptures have to say. So there's a humility that's the foundation, a dependence upon God that we must have. That's the attitude. And then there needs to be a hunger. There needs to be a hunger to know the truth, to sit at the feet of Jesus and learn from Him. So when we demonstrate that humility, and when we listen for the voice of God, we sit at the feet of of Jesus, open the scriptures and study them and research the truth of God. God will open our eyes at some point, and it will make sense. And when it makes sense, then we believe. And that's how it works. That's how faith in God works. And so I wanted you to understand that and realize that there's a part that only we can do, and there's a part that only God can do. When we do our part, we can depend upon God to do His part. Our part is to be humble and hungry. His part is to open our eyes to understand the truth, to turn on the lights. And so I hope that helps you understand that this is a partnership between us and God. This walk, and that's why the scripture says walk with God, walk with Jesus. Jesus said, follow after me. It's a relationship with Him that's a step by step by step progress every day of our lives. So thanks for your time. Look forward to next time.